We talk about food being expensive. If you're buying expensive food, it's expensive. But if you're buying food and you know what to do with it, it's not expensive.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS Secretary. Welcome to the Secretary Kennedy podcast. And the purpose of this podcast is to talk about how we're going to move from policy on paper to reality, to implementing these revolutionary policies from the Trump administration that are going to end the chronic disease epidemic and that are going to change the experience that Americans have with our healthcare system and make it much better, improve the quality of healthcare, and make it affordable. But also the subject that we're talking today is to improve our food supply. How do we go from eating 70% processed foods to eating all whole foods, foods that are actually going to keep us healthy? The processed foods are making us sick. We now have the highest chronic disease burden in the entire world, and we've gone from spending zero on chronic disease when my uncle was president in 1960 to spending $4.3 trillion a year. It's the biggest budget item in the federal government, and it's also the fastest growing cause. It's existential for our country. 77% of our kids can't qualify for military service, and that should get everybody's attention. But also just the costs are ruinous. 40 cents out of every taxpayer dollar that we give to the federal government is going to treat diseases that are diet related. So we need to change our diet or we're going to lose our country. And I have here today a man, Robert Irvine, who's going to tell us how to do this, who's actually doing this. This is the man who's making my dream come true. As you know, Brooke Rollins and I, the USDA secretary, the greatest USDA secretary we've had in history, released a couple of weeks ago new dietary guidelines. And those dietary guidelines go from the old guidelines, which were driven by the mercantile interests of large food industry corporations, that it captured FDA and captured USDA, and were giving us food-like substance. This is the mercantile impulses that drove Fruit Loops to the top of the food pyramid. So that's not even a food. It's a food-like substance, and that's what the government was lying to us for 50 years, telling us these things were good to eat. We took whole milk away from 2 generations of kids and starved their brains and starved their immune systems and their metabolic energies and did so much damage. And now we have a chance to reverse that. The dietary guidelines will drive changes in American food culture. One of the reasons for that is that the U.S. government subsidizes huge numbers of meals every day, $405 million a day from the USDA alone, to fund Head Start, the Indian Health Services, the prison meals, the school lunches, WICs, and all these other meal systems. And then we have the VA and the military. And the big question that people have is, are we going to be able to provide high quality food at a low enough cost that people can afford it? And that answer is being provided us right now at Fort Hood in Texas in a new military program designed by television chef Robert Irvine. And Robert, I'm not going to introduce you. I'm going to let you introduce yourself. And let me just, you started out as a Navy cook.
Yes, sir.
In the British Navy on the Britannica.
Royal Britannia, yes.
And so tell us what you learned on that.
So I started at a young age, just a young cook. I joined the military at the age of 15 and a half years old. Signed up for 15 and a half, joined at 16, went to a warship, did my training, ended up on the Royal Yacht Britannia, traveled with the royal family for a while, and realized that actually not on the Royal Yacht, but on a warship, realized what food actually did. We didn't have females in the Navy then. It was just males. 240 men on a warship heading to the Falklands during the war. How do we feed them? What do we feed them? And how do we keep them healthy and morale? And I used to make baked goods, funny pies and cakes and whatnot in the afternoon and sandwiches. And the Navy adopted that as a tradition, and it still happens to this day. But that's how I started my career in the Navy as a young cook. When I got out of the Navy, I was more interested. The food was so bad in the British Royal Navy. Then I came to the States. I ended up actually working at the White House a couple of days of work. I was working with President Trump at his casinos. 2 days of work a week I would work in the White House, teaching the Navy cooks how to cook. The old days, people didn't care about what they were putting in their bodies. And first of all, I want to go back a little bit and say thank you for you and Secretary Rawlins for changing the dynamics of feeding, because the country is in such a state. You said 77% of young children or young adults are not applicable for military service, which is actually true. We extended the training to lose 10 pounds off those people, which is $100,000 a piece. So by
What
fixing...
do you mean it's $100,000 savings a piece?
No, it costs more to lose 10 pounds of weight because there's a remedial class, meaning when you can't make the physical fitness requirement, we put you into a class till you can. And it's the same with the academic requirements. So by fixing, and this is a holistic approach of what you're trying to do, and I love it because I've been trying to do this in the military for 14 years. We first started looking at, with the military specifically, how do we buy the food? What food are we buying? Who's cooking it? Who's serving it? How are we serving it? Who's eating it? In a whole holistic circle. And then we go into say, okay, well, the manufacturers are producing, and I give you an example, a centerpiece cut of salmon for $6 a pound, as opposed to a frozen tail end of salmon at $9.75 a pound. So why are we not using fresh food? We're buying frozen. So my whole approach with Fort Hood, which you just mentioned there, thanks to Chris Mohan and the Chief Randy George of the Army Secretary Driscoll and
Pete Hexas.
Absolutely, I was getting to that, and you beat me to it. But thanks to them, they're changing the way we do business. They're allowing us to look at what industry is doing outside that we've never done since 1930s in the military. We look at a bottle of water. What does it cost us here? Why are we selling it? And what does it cost us over here? And the difference between buying it in Alabama and buying it in Kentucky is it's the same water, but it's 10 cents more over here. So the first thing I look at when they asked me to help through my foundation, Robert Irvine Foundation, helped the military modernize their feeding system. So I took them to universities, took them to colleges. Columbia University in New York City, I took them there. There's no refrigeration in Columbia University. A few open and closed, but no big walk-ins. And yet they're feeding 10 to 12 to 20,000 people a day. Food comes in at 2 o'clock in the morning. It gets prepped fresh. It gets served. And they have a 96% retention rate in New York City, where you can get any food at any point at any time within 2-mile radius. Why is that? The food is fresh, it's healthy, you see it, it's prepared, it looks sexy, because food has to look sexy to be able to eat it, and they know it's prepared fresh every day. That's why they're successful. And I took the same approach when I took leadership to there. I said, look, we can do this. It's not about money. And people raise this thing, and I get really upset when they say, oh, we need more money, we need more money, we need more money. You don't. We need to buy correctly. We need to look at what we're purchasing, where it's coming from, the farmer, what the excess product is, all those things that I look at and say, okay, here's a menu. It's healthy. There's no processed foods in it. You're going to sleep better. You're going to get better nutrients. You're going to feel better. And if I took blood, and I know you work out, but if I took blood at you today and then put you on a healthier, not you need healthier diet, but a different diet, and took your blood 90 days from now, I can guarantee you will be a better, more resilient human being. You will sleep better and you will live longer. And that's the problem with our food service. And we go back to the manufacturers, right? Those greedy people that have taken all the money and put dyes and all those things in food. And that's not everybody, but it's a lot of people. We have to stop that. Noodles. Look at what Korea and Japan and
Indonesia
and Asia in general, their noodles don't have 1,000 milligrams of sodium in. Why do ours? We spend X amount of billions on 1.4 million active duty men and women because we make them sick with the food we serve them. And then we go on the other end. So if a 19-year-old comes in the military and we cut their hair, we teach them how to march, we give them food, 10 weeks later they're a soldier, they serve 20 years, then the VA has to pick up the rest of that in the next 20 years of life because we've poisoned them with sugar, salt, colors, dyes, and all the other things. We can do better than that. We can go to the manufacturers and we can say, we want this amount of sodium in this, and this is what we're going to pay for it. We should not be listening to those people telling us what, as the largest purchaser of food in the world, what we should be paying for it. I did it when I was working at the casinos. I went and bought, 50,000 pounds of beef, shrimp, and I said, okay, I don't care whether it's ground beef, whether it's sirloin, whether it's filet. This is the price per pound, and this is what we're going to do with it. But it's an education of not only the purchasing piece, then how do we cook it? What do we do with it when we have it? And we know our country is made up of many nationalities. I'm British. We grew up on fish and chips and steak kidney pie. I don't want to live and eat that. That's how I grew up. But if we give you the means of education to be able to cook that, whether you're from Puerto Rico, whether you're from England, from Somalia, from wherever, right? We give you the information to be able to cook this and buy it at a cheap cost. There is no reason that our health of this nation doesn't get better. None at all. And it's not through money. It's going to the suppliers. It's going to demand that we don't want 1,000 milligrams of sodium in that noodle. We want 200 milligrams of sodium because the FDA says this is what we need a day. And you're doing that right now. That's what's changing the world. And it's took me 14 or 15 years to be able to get those changes. I needed you 15 years ago. Where were you 15 years ago, sir? Come on. I mean, but now we start to see that people want it. They just don't know how to do it. And I think with you and Secretary Rawlins and the whole team putting it in front of faces and the Super Bowl ad, where it's really in people's faces, and you've got to meet them where they are, because not everybody can afford this and this and this. But if we go to those manufacturers and we know what they're providing and we know what it costs them and we know what they're making, we can demand, and I use that word very strongly, we demand what we want to feed our country on.
You mentioned Columbia University, and Columbia had an interesting story because it was throwing out most of its food. It was serving really bad food, really sort of cafeteria food. It had only 2,000 people using its food services, and a lot of them weren't even showing up.
Yep.
And now it has, as you say, somewhere around 10,000 people because they switched the food, they're not paying more for it. And it's high quality food. I saw pictures of their cafeteria. The food looks just incredible, and the students are flocking to it. And that was one of the templates you use for showing the military what could happen.
We use less money for better food to get a more nutritious meal into somebody than any college out there right now.
This is at Fort Hood.
Right now, Fort Hood, we've got Fort Leo.
Fort Hood, which is
Fort
one of the
Jackson.
biggest bases in the country.
We're doing it right now. So we know
you're doing it there at 5 bases altogether,
yes,
and you're about to expand to 20 bases.
So we've got, that will extend in March. I think we'll name the next 20 at the end of March at AUSA Global. But right now it's 5 bases. And we started at Fort Jackson, and nobody was pushing for it. I asked the commanding general, General Kelly. He gave me $1.4 million to show that I could do it. In 4 months, we'd already proved it. The usage was more, everything was made fresh, daily, healthy. Chicken salad was real chicken, not 1,000 milligrams of sodium. We made the food, and there was lines out the door. So we know there's no adage. If you build it, they will come. it's food is sexy. We need it whether we like it or not. We got to eat.
And before you came along, the food was so unpopular in those military cafeterias that a lot of the soldiers were buying fast food, which is insanely expensive. I think it's $9 or $10 now just for a Big Mac meal. Well, they were using up their paycheck, and they were throwing away the food in the military cafeteria. And what's happening now?
Yeah. So if you think that the old style of military cooking was, we know there's 13 million meals over a week. We know that there's 2,000 soldiers at lunch, 3,000 at dinner, breakfast, whatever. So we would cook the food, put it into these big hot boxes. Nobody would come in. We'd take the allowance from their money. They would go to the APs, buy something, and we would throw all this food away. And it's still happening today. We're changing that. The biggest problem with schools, with military, it's the same thing. How do we buy it? How do we train them to cook it? How do we educate them how to eat it? And what's good for them? And not waste it, because we're wasting more food than we should be cooking like we do in a restaurant. When you go to a restaurant, I don't give you a meal that's cooked for 8 hours in advance in a hot box. You order it, I cook it, you eat it, and hopefully you like it, and you come back next time. Well, that's how we should be doing this with school feeding, with prison feeding, with military feeding, and the 5 bases that we're testing with the military, I believe are going to go off the charts, and you'll see the savings in waste and food purchasing, how we're buying the food. And that's a big aspect of, I can create a menu, but nobody wants, a 24-ounce steak on a menu. We can't afford that. We get $15 here, $17 there, $5 over it. I can put a meal for a soldier for $5 to $7, depending on what you're eating, right? And yet we're getting $15 or $17. So don't tell me there's not enough money. There's plenty of money. It's how we purchase. And I have this fight inwardly because I'm a chef by trade, and I want the best of the best. When you come to my restaurant, the president comes, or whoever comes to the restaurant, I want you to get the best possible. But I don't want you to pay through the nose for it. It's the same when I purchase. I want to purchase stuff and say, okay, this is the best I can possibly do. I'm going to do the least to it. I'm going to season it very lightly with something, use some fresh herbs. I'm going to put it there, and I'm going to serve it to you. And to me, that's not difficult. That's what chefs do. But we've complicated the system that people, and the biggest argument, and I've heard it for the last 14, 15 years, we need more money. We need more money. We need more money. You don't need more money. You need to be smarter in the purchasing. You need smarter in the menu, smarter in nutritionals. Just like Japan, Korea, when you go for a meal as a child in Japan, Korea, or Asia, it's an experience. With the military, my biggest fear is we build these houses, and then we put a kitchen, and then these kids go and sit in their rooms and eat on their own, and that suicide rates go through. Dining is supposed to be an experience with kids, and it's communal, it's mindful, and we don't have that. We've lost that. There used to be, when I grew up, Sunday lunch. It was everybody around the table eating, no phones away, and eat and talk. And we've lost that in society. And food is the only way to move it. We talk about food being expensive. If you're buying expensive food, it's expensive. But if you're buying food and you know what to do with it, it's not expensive. Look how much chicken is thrown away from manufacturers. And I used this a second ago. When you think about chicken wings used to be, cat food, dog food, throwaway food. Now it's more expensive than a chicken breast. So why are we not using dark meat? Why are we not helping people understand those cheaper cuts of meat or cheaper vegetables and finding what is being tilled? And if you look at our throwaway rate from farmers, bless them, and we're trying to figure that out and subsidize them, why they're growing it, and then we till it because we can't use it. There is enough technology in this world to redirect that food to where it needs to go without being ultra-processed.
You mentioned Japan and Indonesia. In Japan, they feed 10 million kids a day, school lunches. They pay between $1.70 and $2.50. And they have a lot harder time getting food than we do. We're the breadbasket of the world. And they make it, as you say, they make it a culinary experience. They teach culinary skills to the kids. They teach good eating habits. They use the experience to teach character to their kids.
It's a great.
They have the lowest obesity rate in the developed world. And then Indonesia does the same thing. They feed 80 million kids, and they're paying 60 cents a meal. So that's a developing country, but we ought to at least be able to match what Japan is doing. Japan, grows almost nothing in Japan.
Think about that. 60 cents. Scale. You just mentioned the scale. When we buy at scale, it shouldn't be more expensive. It should be cheaper.
What is your experience with the Defense Logistics Agency?
It's for me, I have a hard time, and I do.
Because they actually pay more for the food. They're buying at scale.
I have a hard time, sir, because what makes America great, or had made America great, was challenges, right? Was you're selling for this and I'm selling for this. Economies of scale. If I'm buying this much, I'm going to buy it from you. We've lost that because now I'm the only one that's got it, and you're going to pay me whatever I ask for it. How am I supposed to be able to do that? And we can, by the way, but we've got to hold. I go in, and I've just done it with the military. And by the way, the military is a group of people. I'm just the independent, non-paid guy my foundation has got a service agreement with them. And I just go in there and say, okay, give me the information. Let me dissect the information. Why am I paying this? Well, because we've got to come through this. And I said, well, why? Why can't I go over here and buy it? It's cheaper and it's better quality. Well, because we've been doing this for 36,000 years. That's what we want. I'm like, well, sir, can I get an exception to policy for this? We're going to test. I want to prove to you we can save money getting better product, a better end product for the end user, make a more nutritious meal. And by the way, sir, Merry Christmas. There's $1 billion I just saved you. Isn't that a win-win for everybody?
We skipped over big gaps in your curriculum vitae, which I think are relevant to this discussion because you were a television chef after your military experience. You were a television chef, and then you specialized in turnarounds at restaurants. I would talk about that, about your experience as a television chef, because you had a couple of shows.
Yes, yeah. Restaurant Impossible was really important because I'd get about 3,000 to 4,000 emails a week from restaurants saying, how do we fix this? And eventually we made a TV show, Restaurant Impossible. We did 300 plus episodes, anywhere from people being 300,000 to $1.1 million in debt. And now I have guys that were $1 million in debt, making $3.5 million in profit, and so on. And it's really about the education. We put the military, and I use that because it could be a prison, it could be a school. We put on these menus what we think these kids are going to eat. And we prepare it poorly, we buy it poorly. And I'm not saying every place, right? Because you can't broad stroke everybody the same thing. But we don't do it well. And then these kids take all their money and they go to the snack counter and they buy all this junk. And then we expect them to be healthy. It's just like a soldier. If I don't give him an opportunity to eat somewhere for breakfast and he's flying a $180 million drone and falls asleep because he didn't have a $5 breakfast, whose fault is that, mine or his? It's mine as a military because I didn't give him options. And I think that's the problem. It starts with purchasing, and it's the same with the restaurant. So I look at, when I walk in, what was your original idea? Oh, you wanted a Mexican restaurant, but you're on an Indian reservation. How does that work, right? So the original idea, what are you making? Where are you buying? What's your cost of goods? Your labor thrown on top of that? What's your percentage of profit on top of that? And how are your sales? And by the way, don't bring your family into this because you never work with family. It's not a good idea. You fire your family. You don't pay them. So I look at that the same way in big business, whether you're Walmart, whether you're American Airlines, whether you're Comcast NBC, whether the Army, whether it's the same process as a TV show. It's fact finding, it's sorting through all the garbage, and then saying, hey, here's the plan of action, but this is what it takes to get it done. It may need an exception to policy. It may need a change of policy. It may need but the minute that's done, this is what it's going to free up. And this is how it's going to give you a better quality product. And by the way, look at your checkbook and your balance in your bank account at the end of the month. It's going to be there. Why? Because I've saved on waste, I've saved on purchasing, and I've put more people through the door. The more people, word of mouth, and it's like me saying, the old tale of the fish. Oh, I caught a fish this week. It was this big. By the time it gets to you 3 times later, it was this big. So word of mouth on something good is like wildfire. And the more you tell the story of success, the more people buy into it. Because it's education too. Because I grew up in England eating St. kidney pies. I didn't know about okra and avocados and, all the other stuff. Now I do, obviously. So it's about education, purchasing correctly, cooking correctly, but also understanding the audience. You've got to understand who's coming to your restaurant, who's coming to your business. And that's what the TV show was. And I took that. I wrote a book about how to be successful and build teams and catapult to success. And I do that with my life's passion is just like you. Is I want to leave this earth better than when I came to it. I want to know that the kids after me are getting great food. The military that we're asking to do great things every day, these athletes are getting the right nutrition. And don't tell me it's going to cost more money. Just tell me, give me the details, and let me figure it out, and let me show you how to do it. Because those naysayers, and there are a lot of them, I want to know that when I go to a supplier that I can get this water, and you've been buying it because we're friends, you've been buying it for 2012, I'm now getting it for 99 cents, and the extra dollar is going into that food. It's going back in. I'm not taking it away. And I think that's the difference between Asia and us. It's an experience. It's cultural. It's health-based, nutrition-based, but it's also mental health that goes along with it.
What should a military meal cost?
Well, I think a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I can give you like I can give you in a restaurant for anywhere from $10 to it costs me anywhere from 5 to 7 to do a great job. Right?
So that's the ingredients, or is that ingredients and labor?
Well, right now that's ingredients, right? But labor is very minimal based on depending on the menu style that you put in, right? So if I've got 20 items on a menu, there's more labor. But if I can take, and this is what I always think of with the military, if I can take a value-added product, for example, a sweet potato, I can have somebody make a sweet potato that's clean. Just sweet potato, bake them, steam them, mash them, a little seasoning in a bag, boil it, serve it. The nutritional data on that is way better than me going and putting butter and adding and mixing and cinnamon and all that. If I can take a value-added product, it cuts my labor down. I'm not peeling potatoes. I'm not cooking it. I'm not mashing it. So there's a mix of both there. Taking the value-added product that's already been done, a marinated chicken that costs $2.12 a pound, as opposed to a chicken breast with 1,000 milligrams of sodium pump. And then a guy like me comes and does this, or a girl, and then we cook it, and then we wonder why the blood pressure is through the roof of these young people. There's ways around that. And so I can tell you that I can feed a soldier that's 25 years old under $10 for 3 meals and make it spectacular.
$10 for each meal?
For all meals. For the day.
$10 for the day. And what?
And we get 17.
Military contracts that Defense Logistics Agency is giving out, how much do they give the contractors per meal?
Well, so I think the average now, the Navy is $17, the Army is $15.82, I believe, something like that, and it changes based on the bases and volume and things. But anywhere from the contractors get paid between $15 and $18 to $20. So don't tell me you can't make
That's
that.
for 3 meals?
That's for 3 meals. So, is there a lot of room for improvement? Absolutely. But we've got to hold the manufacturers accountable. We've got to hold the retailers accountable. We've got to hold the stakeholders that are running these schools accountable.
It's about being smart, not having more money.
It's not about, you're exactly right. It's not about money, because if we're smart and we understand the economics of the products that we buy, say there's a 5 days of school and there's a 5-day menu, or a 12-day or 18, whichever it is, we know what that menu costs because we know what we're selling. It's like me in a restaurant. When you go into a restaurant and you order chicken a la king or chicken whatever, it comes off on a computer because the server's done it. I know exactly what we serve, so I know exactly the poundage of meat I use. I know what it's going to cost to produce that dish because it's analyzed. Every ounce, everything that goes into it, there's a recipe card, there's a standing operating procedure, how to cook it, how to serve it. It's second nature to me because I've been doing it so long. But when we put somebody in charge of something that we think knows or has been doing it for years and never changed because they've never been trained to change, it will be like the military from 1936. It will stay the same. Nothing will ever evolve.
And now, have you seen any measurable differences in morale or performance in the troops that you're...
Morale, number one, through the roof. Number two, usage of facility, line out the door, wrapped around. I get a data points every 15 minutes of the dining facility. I know exactly what's happening at any point in time. And that's what I said to secretaries of war and whatnot. Look, I'll give you the data. I'll prove the data works. Just like, the fitness and health. How do we, the H2F movement now? We know that we've got 8% of less breakages and sprains and better service members because of that. We can do the same thing with food. Less waste, better human being, better sleep, better cognizant speed, recovery, decision-making. All these things are tied to food, but we don't think of that. We think, families think that, we just eat food. Well, it's okay, great, we'll eat again 4 or 5 hours later. Or do they? Some people can't do that. So I think food has got a lot more. It's not just filling your belly and feeling good. It's about mental health. It's about relationships. It's about common sense. And again, I go back to the same thing you just said. It's not about money. It's about being smart and getting the data and understanding where that data comes from, be able to use it. When somebody says something, they say, no. It's here. It's right in front of you. It's telling you. And that's why successful restaurants can tell you down to the ounce, the penny, the pound, the cent, exactly how they're making money. And it's no different. We're just bigger business. The government is a bigger business. It's got bigger expenditures. But it's the same thing. Holding people accountable for what they spend, what they buy, how they use it. To the point of, we can tell you what the waste factor is at any given time and any given meal period in dollar and in poundage, which is next to zero, by the way. So it works. We know the system works. It's now getting people to change and hold them accountable to do it. And I think the change is the tough part. And I went through a lot of fights, and I'm okay with the fights. I'm a good fighter. But I know the information before I go into a fight because it's important.
You know what? One of our probably our gold standard objective the holy grail of this is to get this kind of good food into our schools. One of the big impediments with that is a lot of the schools have shut down their cafeterias.
Yeah.
They're just giving the kids packaged food, which is the worst thing in the world for them. How do you have any ideas about how to overcome that?
Well, I think number one, each area is different, and I said this before. I feel that you've got to take, and then each state is different. I don't know what the states are getting per money, different whatever, but the military's having the same problem with closing down. 2 days ago, Space Force Base closed down facilities. There's no eating facilities on the Space Force. Why? Well, because they couldn't get people to work there. The food was garbage. Nobody was using it. That's fixable. Find people that want to do the right thing, train them correctly, and that's what we do. When I take over a facility, I go in, I train the people. Even if you've got the contract, I train you. You do it this way. There's no change of policy. This is what you're doing. And I can tell you, and I'm very proud to say this, after a year and 8 months of Fort Jackson, and I pop up there all the time just to see if they're on key. No changes in recipes, no changes in presentation, no changes in it. This is the way we taught you. This is the way it goes. That's the be all and end all. And I think that's what you have to do to reestablish standing operating procedures for schools. Just like, and I just watched a program in Korea 3 days ago, about how they do it and how they hold people accountable and their sanitation records and the way they do it and the way the people and how happy the kids are. Happy kids go to school and become brighter people. Sorry, that's just science. That's not Robert Irvine, that's science. They're happier, they learn more. They don't fall asleep at 10 o'clock in the morning because they've had a Coke and a Snickers bar. So I think, is it possible? I'm going to do this. Sorry, guys. Yes, it is possible. Absolutely. But it takes getting the information and getting after it, because people are always afraid of change. I'm not afraid of change. I'm not afraid of fights. You can fight me all day, but I'm going to come with data, and you better be able to change the data. And if you tell me different data, well, this was yesterday at 4 o'clock. When was yours? 5 months ago? No. So I think it's a holistic approach of understanding the purchase power, the menu cycles, the people cooking it, the people going to eat it, and making it fun and enjoyable for the end user, meaning the child or the military person or the prisoner. Because it's the same process. We're doing the same thing. It's food. It's not I'm not Dr. Oz doing cardiac surgery. I'm putting food on a plate for people to eat and have fun and enjoy it and go away feeling better and sleeping well and less chronic disease. Let's talk about disease that we're creating in the food supply. So all those things come into better, wholesome food that we don't think about. You and I think about it, and your team thinks about it, but the general public don't. They just think, oh, we're going to eat this because it's there.
One of the craziest things is the junk that they serve in hospitals. I mean, do they do that in England? I can't believe they're doing better in England.
I could sit and agree with you every 3 seconds because we're supposed to be getting healthy in hospitals. We're not getting healthy. They're serving. Again, I go back.
It's appalling, the stuff that they serve.
It's education. It's the same thing. The lowest common denominator. A chef's job used to be very prestigious. Now nobody wants to do it. And now we've got an answer for that. That's okay. But the ones that do, let's train them more. Let's buy the value-added products so we don't have to peel potatoes, and we do it, and we put nutritious. I don't have to cut fruit. I can buy fruit cut at a great price as opposed to cutting a melon myself because I don't have the time. There's no reason we can't make great menus for the same amount of money with less people, or if we have more people, then we do it by hand. But it's just, to me, it's a waste of an hour to peel melons when I can buy it cheaper. And again, it's the, is it labor or is it food cost? Is it labor, is it food? Is it labor, is it food? But there's no more money needed. It's just the adjustment of balance.
You were talking about good food makes happy kids. And one of the things that we talk about here a lot is the link between good diet and mental health, because everybody knows it affects physical health. There's also 75 years of peer review now that link it directly to, bad food, ultra-processed food, to conditions like ADHD, to bipolar disorder, schizophrenia. There's a professor at Harvard, Christopher Palmer, who is dramatically reducing the symptoms of schizophrenia using ketogenic diets. You can go on the internet and look up all these studies on these experiments, these controlled experiments that they do in prisons, where they switch the diet maybe in one wing of the facility and they leave the diet in the other, and the level of violence goes down 40 to 50%. The use of restraints in juvenile detention facilities goes down to 75%. Disciplinary problems, all of those things.
And you see that a lot with post-traumatic stress. So food is linked to post-traumatic stress. They've proven that on study after study. You hear about somebody popping a balloon and somebody jumping because of whatever. It's the same if you put mashed potatoes or bacon or something. All these things that you're talking about, they are. Food is related to most of those, and aggression and starvation and meal periods. The body is not designed to eat 3 meals a day. It's just not. So if you have breakfast at 6 o'clock and you don't eat till 12 and you don't eat till 6 again, the body is designed to eat every 3 hours, something small. I'm not talking about a 28-hour steak at 9 o'clock at night, but it's designed to continually graze over a period of time to keep you at a level of alertness. We don't do that. We've grown up on this system of 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And what I've said in the military side is, that's not good enough. It's not good enough when we're asking these people to do what we're asking them to do. They should be able to get a midday snack. They must be able to get a midnight snack at any point in time. And that's what we're doing. We're putting food trucks. We're putting 24-hour grab and goes, as well as, so when the big diner facilities close, there are locations to get food. They don't have to go and get a Big Mac or a Dorito or a whatever. And I think it's the same. Kids' attention spans, and if you go, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and I'm not at breakfast, and I did this, I watched kids during a TV show I did in D.C. where the kids' breakfast was Coke and a Snickers bar. And I took the crew breakfast, my own crew, I said, you're not eating, the kids are going to eat. And we did that for a week while we filmed this TV show. The difference in the kids was completely different. Eggs. Eggs, nothing. But we've got to do better, and again, I give you kudos and the team kudos for the Super Bowl piece, simply because it's the most watched TV show on the planet, right? And you're talking about real food. Now it's got to get sexy again. Now we got to put that message out, get the information, and then start to do it. Not just dribble. I went full force with the Army. I know, look, I'm going to upset some people. As long as you got my back.
Got it.
Right?
HHS is behind you.
I got you. I'll do it. I'll do the work. But I need an aircraft over me to say, when I hit the wall, you got to come in and smooth me up. And that's exactly what they did. And I had these fights with data, and they couldn't argue the data. And we moved, I think, faster in the last year than 70 years prior. And we actually making physical change. And the first one, as I said, opens Fort Hood. We did Fort Jackson as a test. And after my first 4 months, I'm like, we're not testing anymore. We don't need to test anymore. We know it. We know what to do. Now let's roll it out. And I think that's the exciting part. I've devoted my life to health, fitness, and the legacy of other people, because I believe that we can do better with food, with exercise, with kids, with prisoners, with military folks. I believe we can do better than what everybody else has done. Talking about Make America Healthy Again. slap it in the face and do it. Just like you're doing. Keep doing it and keep pushing it, because that is a legacy play way beyond my life, your life. Imagine the history books when somebody picks up a history books and says, this is what RFK did in this time, and it's 30 years later. That's the play when they talk about something being done. And that to me is the exciting part. It's not about Robert Irvine did this. It's look what a team of people that were like-minded got together and didn't talk about it. They actually did it.
One last question. You mentioned that you toured with the royal family.
Yes.
Did you ever meet Lord Mountbatten?
So it's funny. Lord Mountbatten, when I was a young sea cadet, so what you call ROTC here, when I was 11 years old, there was a competition called the Royal Navy Field Gun Competition. And basically what it was, in the Boer War, I know I'm dating myself here, but in the Boer War, they had a carriage that carried the
Gatling gun.
the missiles, the bullets, basically, the big shells, sorry, and then the cannon, and it was drawn by horses. Well, Lord Mountbatten every year had a sea cadet at Romsey House, had a competition to cross a river. So it was a 28-foot chasm. You put 2 telegraph poles up, one guy swings over, takes another one, puts it, and you have to move a ton of equipment over this river. And it's an event, and you can Google it, called Field Gun Competition at Earl's Court. It was done at Lord Romsey, Earl Mountbatten's house, where Diana and Charles had their honeymoon. And I got to meet him there when I was a young man, not in the Navy, because he'd already passed. He'd been killed at that point. But I never forget.
He was killed on his yacht.
Yes, he was killed by the IRA. But yeah, those memories of my young childhood days in the military. Again, that's what drives me now. The military for me is get it done. Stop talking about it. Here's the plan. Go and do it. And I think I've never lost that. From that young age of, I used to carry a 120-pound wheel at 16 years old on I got to show you the video. It's funny. And then just kind of hit a deck, roll it, go through a hole that's 6 inches wide, put a gun back together, then run and fire it. It's crazy. But that's how I met Lord Mountbatten many, many years ago.
Robert Irvine, thank you very much. Thanks for what you're doing for our country.
Well, I appreciate what you're doing. Keep doing it and keep shaking the tree.
Produced by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.